1979 in our trip out west. We spent 3 weeks traveling the west through Colorado, Wyoming, South Dakota, and etc. And it was one of the best vacations we ever took by far. But this is our beginning of our trip through Colorado and through the rest of the western states. It was in July of 1979. This is the road into Estes Park. Most the following pictures will be mostly our trip through Estes Park, Colorado. Through the west, we were pulling a trailer, and this is one of the first trailer parks we stopped at along the river here. It was just a beautiful, beautiful trip the whole way. You can see the road up above. This would be the road we were traveling. We were driving through the mountains and doing a lot of ups and downs, but a lot of steep grades. But this is the road up above that you can see. As you can see, we're up above the timberline now, and that's why you see no trees. This isn't forested. This is above the timberline where the trees actually grow. As you can see, we've now left the mountains and we're back down on in the valley again. It's quite a difference between being in the mountains and being back on the valley as far as temperatures and the foliage around us. But we're back down on the valley and we've gone through Estes Park. We're crossing the Continental Divide here, going back through the mountains, not in Estes Park, but back through the Rockies, heading on down to Denver and then on down to Colorado Springs. Among these hills now, we're close to Colorado Springs, and this is actually Pikes Peak that you're seeing now. Here we're at the Garden of the Gods, and it's quite amazing, really. Right where the peak is on the sign is also Pikes Peak in the background. So this is showing you what Pikes Peak looks like from the valley near Colorado Springs. Starting to get near dusk, but this is Balancing Rock there in Garden of the Gods. Balancing Rock. We stationed ourselves in Colorado Springs for a couple days, and then we decided this is one of the trips we took from Colorado Springs. This is going out to Cripple Creek. It was a gold mining area in the west, a very successful gold mining area, and they still mine some gold around this area. But this is a little side trip through the mountains that you've got to take to get to the Cripple Creek area. As you can see, it was a heck of a road, and this is the only way to get there. You had this one road actually leading from Colorado Springs, so it was quite a little journey along a little different road than what we're accustomed to. But this is the way you get through the mountains. After driving through the mountains, you finally hit this open area that Cripple Creek was actually in. Here we're going down to the bottom of St. Catherine's mine. Still an operational gold mine, but not in the areas naturally that we went down to explore. But it was an actual gold mine, still producing gold ore. We're leaving this area now, going back to the northern route, and we'll go to Royal Gorge now. We're on our way to Royal Gorge. Back in the background, you see is elk. We've seen so many elk. We've seen hundreds and hundreds of elk throughout the whole trip. We've seen a lot of nature. It was just a gorgeous trip, and we've seen more nature than what anybody would expect. These are some deer that the boys were able to feed there that have become tame right outside of Royal Gorge and are accustomed to being fed this way. Right outside of Royal Gorge. Notice the velvet on their antlers. This is on top of Royal Gorge. You do drive across this. The amazing thing was it is a wooden bridge and there are spaces between a lot of the slats, so it's kind of an eerie feeling as you drive along. But this is Royal Gorge. This is taken from the bottom by the railroad tracks looking back up at it. It's quite an expanse. They did have these aerial trams that went across the gorge, but we didn't take it. I should say Nancy and I didn't take it. I think maybe the boys did go on this, enjoyed it, but Nancy and I didn't take it. They couldn't get Nancy up there for $1 million. We've now left the Colorado Springs area and are heading on our way to Durango, Silverton area, over on the southwest part of Colorado. Here we're driving, like I said, to Durango through the Red Mountains, they call them, and going to be on the $1 Million Highway. Again, we'll be crossing the Rocky Mountains and the Continental Divide on our way to Durango.